Episode 3, the movie Propcast. We are back, and by we, I mean myself, Justin, and Tyler is still hanging on after three whole episodes, so this is going to be pretty good. I'm glad you're here.
It's still kind of hard. It's still kind of tough.
That's what she said. Okay, getting into it. I don't know if we can even say that, if it's legal or not, but here it just got said. But
We're good.
You clicked on this, you know what movie it is. We are diving deep into the jungle with Jumanji. And actually, are we going to be in the jungle?
I'm in the jungle already.
You're always in the jungle, man. I just don't understand. I just don't know. I guess when you really think about the movie, they're never in a jungle. Only one character specifically is in a jungle.
So the jungle comes to them.
Aspects of the jungle. Some would say they're still in a house.
I mean, they're in a house, but they got a swamp. They got vines. They got crocs. They got a lot in there. I'd say the jungle came to them.
You know what? Speaking of Crocs, I have not seen mine in years, and I'd like to say to whoever stole them, I don't like you anymore.
I've never owned a pair of Crocs.
You haven't lived. You haven't lived on the. This is not an endorsement for Crocs, but my goodness, they're very comfortable. I hear they're terrible for your feet and legs and posture.
I've heard the opposite. I heard that they recommend them for people with diabetes.
All right, listen, we don't need to get medical. I'm just saying they're very comfortable. Don't feel if you're out there rocking Crocs still. Don't feel bad. You're not alone.
They're the new fad. Kids love Crocs. They have the little pins. They decorate them. Like, that's in now. Crocs are in.
I'm not worried about the decoration. I'm just worried about being comfortable. And at the end of the day, Crocs. Speaking of Crocs, yes, there are some crocodilies in this movie. It gets definitely crazy. The movie Jumanji. We're talking about 1995's version, by the way. If you've made it this far in and you realize that we're not talking about the one with the rock.
No.
Yeah, we're not. We're talking about Robin Williams, the OG original Robin Williams, 1995. And I'm so glad we did this. You nominated this one. This is your movie. You're going to get first pick in the prop draft. I'm so glad you did this because now when you said it at first, I was like, okay, obviously the first prop, we don't even really have to suspend that. I mean, we know what's going to happen, but I don't want to spoil it though. But I think a lot of people are going to know what's going to get picked first. But there were a lot of fun, different things in this movie. Maybe not as many as like the last movies that we've done, or maybe not as many big props. They're all going to kind of be, at least on my list, similar.
Okay.
But they're really cool props that I would love to have in real life. I think it'd be pretty cool.
There's a lot of props that work as decoration in this. Like other props you would like display and you'd be like, oh man, like that's cool. Like some of these props I would have up as like decoration.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. And people would not know when they saw it that it came from Jumanji. You have to explain. They just think you're just a weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, why would you have this? Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, watching this movie back, I was a kid when I saw it when I was younger. I had not watched this movie in probably over a decade. Like even when they announced the sequel, not the sequel, but the reboot with The Rock and Kevin Hart and everybody.
You could say sequel.
Is it a sequel? I guess it kind of is.
Because, I mean, we already said there's no spoilers on this podcast.
Right.
But when they find Nick Jonas and they go on they're in the jungle, there's the boat that says, like, Alan was here. Like, that.
Yeah. Okay, it is the same universe. You're right. I guess what they showed in the beginning, the board game did kind of adapt into a video game. But totally different concepts. I think they're both really good and fun. Actually, I should say the newer one is fun. The older one, honestly, watching it back, kind of terrifying. Like I was it was really good, and I don't remember it being that good. When I was finished, I was talking to my wife. I was talking to Kristen, and I said to her face, I was like, "What? I don't remember this movie being as good as it just felt right then."
Yeah, so the newer ones felt like they were supposed to be humor right away. The first one, because it had Robin Williams, you're like, oh, there's going to be humor. Then they had David Allen Greer, who, for me, honestly, he kind of stole a little bit. Like, he was funnier than I remember him being. David Allen Greer was great.
I'll just say it. He was funnier than Robin Williams in that movie.
I didn't want to say it, but you said it.
Just say it. With a little conviction, I think he was.
Like, he just brought a different humor. Like, he was physically funny. Like, his faces, his mannerisms. Like, David Allen Greer was awesome.
Yeah, honestly. He's great. He's definitely great.
But this movie was just like you said, it was more life or death. Like you thought people actually might die in this movie, where in the newer ones, they have the lives and it's a video game, but I never really actually thought anyone might die.
Right. I definitely think the newer one leaned way more into the comedy, which is fine when you have that cast with Jack Black, Kevin Hart. Even The
Oh
Rock
my
has some
God, yeah.
chops there. It's good. But we're not here to talk about the new one. All right. And
No,
if we
no.
had to compare, I still think the original wins out. If we had to me personally, if I had to pick, I'd take the original all day. I didn't realize how high the stakes were in this
Oh
one.
yeah.
And like you
Oh
said,
yeah.
there are moments where there is some comedy, but it really isn't your typical Robin Williams comedy, because you got to think of like the aspect of this kid. He's playing the role of a kid who got sucked into a jungle and has sat
Yes.
in there for 26 years, I think it was.
26 exactly. Yeah, good job.
And he comes back and I can't even fathom how that would happen or how that
Oh
would
no.
register.
And small thing, because we might not get back to this. A small detail that I loved is when he comes out of the game. I saw this like in passing. Around his neck, he has a pocket watch, like a wristwatch. Like it was just a small detail that they didn't have to add, but I
Yeah.
saw it. And as someone looking for props, I was like, "That's awesome." That he
Right.
just like he's keeping track and
He's got something. Yes, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool for sure.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions about that whole, like, it's not time travel. He was living, right?
Oh yeah, he was alive for 26
Like, I
years.
feel like that could have been its own movie
yeah.
inside Jumanji. Like,
if Robin Williams doesn't pass, I feel like someone can make an argument like, let's do a movie of Robin's 26 years in the game.
yeah, that would definitely be very interesting. There's so many questions about. We'll get to the end of the game, obviously, when that happens as well, because there's a few questions that are on my mind about that. But anyway, like I said, Robin Williams is not playing the typical Robin Williams comedy, like 90s slapstick, like over-the-top comedy role, because he is playing a kid who got thrown into a wild jungle and has now come back. And yeah, he's in his childhood home. And so, yeah, his first instinct at being ripped from his childhood into this game is going to be yelling and searching for his parents, which is definitely sad when you realize that they've since gone. His whole like realization of like what happened and how long it's been and where his parents are, that is like dark, man.
Yeah, it is. Like imagine being he's still in the mindset of a childhood. Like he can't drive a car, like stuff like that.
Right.
So imagine you finally get back to somewhere that looks familiar and nothing is the same.
Yeah. That's definitely weird. Yeah, that's got to be mind blowing, as if being sucked into the jungle, at however old he was, like 8, I don't even know, 10.
He was in his teens. He was probably like early teens, like 12 or something.
All right, yeah. By the way, 1960s bullies. Geez.
My first note. So we're allowed to just jump kids in the 60s.
Right.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
We're allowed to wait for kids outside of their dad's factory, beat them up, and take their bike. That's allowed.
I mean. Yeah, I feel like the depiction, and granted, we've grew up in a different time.
Yes.
The depiction of bullying, even growing up and watching high school movies, I've never seen it. I've never seen it to the degree that it is made in movies.
Oh no.
But what's crazy is some people will come out and say, yeah, oh for sure, like they have experienced that. But
yeah.
I don't know. I just don't. It's crazy to me.
I just couldn't believe that they just straight up beat him up, took his bike, and his dad was like, "Oh, well, you'll get him next time."
Yeah, you stood up to him, slugger. Oh, okay.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Of course, he has enough. I mean, the money, the bike being stolen is not a big deal, but yeah, the fact you should be a little more concerned about your son getting pummeled by a group of kids. But like, why was he getting pummeled? Just because he was rich? Like his parents were rich?
I guess so. I also want to point out, like for me, I don't know where you grew up. This town, it's in New Hampshire, apparently looked so much like my town growing up that I was like, did I miss some of this? Like, was there this going on when I was just walking around and having friends?
Do you remember when you were a kid, like just drum beats? You just hear the drums and like the earth?
You stole another point. The drums were a great touch. Why were they so casual about the drums? Like Sarah at one point hears the drums before they first play the game, and she's looking around and he's like, "Oh, you hear them too?" Like
right.
I would be freaking out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why are there drums in my upstairs living.
And
Why?
why would you run to it? Why would
Yeah,
you run?
no.
I'd be running away from it.
I'm freaking out, and they were way too casual about the drums.
Right. And what is it, like only kids can hear it? Because like there's a bunch of people on the construction site and nobody heard it? Like
speaking of the construction, why was a 12-year-old kid allowed to just wander onto a construction site freely?
I don't know.
Did his dad didn't own that. His dad that was not his house.
Wait,
like,
it wasn't a construction site for something his dad was doing? What was it for?
I thought it was just a house. Like I thought they were just making a house. And this kid just wanders. I mean, someone could correct me if I'm wrong. His house was already a mansion that was made.
Yeah.
His dad worked on sneakers, so his dad didn't own the construction crew. So he's just riding his bike, sees like the foundations of a house, hears drum beats, and he just starts digging on a site, and the foreman doesn't say a word.
All right, listen. All right, you have to get to the plot at some point. All right, you got to drive it somewhere. But yeah, you're right. I would think 1969. I wasn't around. I mean, I feel like people gave less craps back then. People kind of minded their own business. I feel like nowadays everybody's into everything and everybody's questioning everything that happens.
It just came to me. I know why Alan was beat up as a kid. It was because he was 12 years old with reading glasses.
Oh, he had glasses?
He had no. He didn't just have glasses. He had good sight. But his dad hands him the pamphlet to go to the boarding school, and he pulls out his reading spectacles.
Okay, now I get why. Listen, now I'm like, okay, I would have beat him up too. Now, like, no, it's ridiculous. But yeah, the bully trope in every movie, I feel like has gone so far that it's like comical at some points. But I get it. People get beat up. They probably could have given a little more reasoning or a little more incentive. Like maybe he did something. Obviously, he was hanging with this girl, but like, you know, was that enough in broad daylight in front of
with
everybody?
10 friends? Yeah. With 10 of your friends. Like that wasn't just like a one-on-one in the back alley.
Yeah.
That was straight up in front of your dad's place of work.
Nothing says
people were looking out the windows.
Nothing says I'm a fine young gentleman like you and 9 other boys beating the hell out of some kid. Like what the hell?
It was just a lot. It was a lot.
Okay, we get it. The kid got beat up. But yeah, pulling that out, and there was, you can see in the background when he's pulling that out of the construction site, and he pulls the chest out. There's a dude just watching him.
Yeah, walking. Yeah,
questioning
just,
nothing.
What's that kid doing? Yeah, what's that kid doing?
So like, I get. Sure, he starts digging in it. Like that would probably be enough for me if I was working to be like, "Hey, kid, what are you doing, man? Like we just leveled that off. Like we have to work around this." And then he rips this out and pulls something out and just takes the box, like the game out of the box, leaves it, and runs away. Like, I feel like somebody should have said something, but I mean that would have been. Imagine that's the end of the movie. It's just like he pulls that out. The guy's like, "Hey, that's not yours." He puts it down and leaves, and that's it. Like
that's it.
That's it. Okay, it just goes to somebody else. No one touches it. Anyway, I'm just trying to imagine. Like, let's say finding that game wasn't so weird in that spot. Like, let's say you found it in a more casual spot. Like, what do you do? Like, are you taking it and opening it up and checking it out? And like,
100%.
Okay. All right.
Like, okay, this is coming from the guy, previous episode, if you guys go back and listen, this is coming from the guy who, as a child of probably roughly the same age, went up and saw a red button in a department store and pressed it.
But I didn't take it. I didn't steal the button. I just hit a button. I feel like that's no harm, no foul.
It's curiosity.
Yeah.
I'm
not a thief. I'm not a thief. All right.
I mean, finding a board game dug up or digging up a board game and taking it home, I hardly, in some aspects, yes, that's thievery, but I think finders keepers.
That's fair. I just wish it wasn't on like a construction site because it kind of means like private property. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I wish it was like a more like. Yeah,
like in a tree, like under a tree, like someone geocached it. Like
yeah, because they were doing that in 1969. But yeah, you're right. No, that definitely would have made a little more sense. But I'm not going to harp on that anymore. All right.
Yeah, I do have one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
So they do the first round, right? Like they hear the drums, they open up the game. Him and Sarah do the first round, and bats come out the attic and start chasing Sarah. Do they chase her forever? Do they stop? When do they? Because the game is supposed to keep going.
Right.
The game isn't supposed to stop till the game ends.
I don't think they keep attacking. I don't think that they're meant to come out and attack the players. It's just in that confined space, they had nowhere to go but flutter around her. And when she went out the door, she ran. I'm sure they followed her for a little bit, and then eventually they went to that. Like the mosquitoes, when they show up in the movie, they don't really hang around.
True. Yeah. I didn't think about that. The spiders tormented them though. The spiders they had no mercy.
They just even the monkeys. The monkeys were really weird too.
Yeah.
Which by the way, CGI monkeys. Let's get into those. In 1995, I don't think any of those monkeys were real physical props.
No, like the spiders definitely, like you could tell when they skitter away
for sure.
When they're attacking Robin Williams, they mix between CGI and practical effects.
There were
not a single monkey.
There were a lot of animatronics. They made no monkey animatronics, but
I'd
the
say monkeys are always
they're always moving really fast and doing crazy stuff.
I was just going to say the same thing. The monkeys were always doing something intricate. Like it wasn't like you could just have a monkey sitting there. They were like flipping or playing with a shotgun or driving the car.
Right.
They're like
for 1995 though, pretty decent. As far as right now holding up, they're kind of gross looking. I'll be honest, they're a little gross.
Oh yeah.
But that's like if that's the only thing you really have to knock. I mean, the animatronics and like the live stuff that they created. I mean, it kind of held up. I mean, you can tell when you're looking right at it that some of it's robotic, but for the most part, I love that practical effect aspect of this movie, and a lot of the movies in the 90s, obviously. But nowadays, that would have just been CGI all day long. Everything would have been CGI. Like that's how it is. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
But
and you're right. In the 90s, like I feel like that mix of practical effects just gives it that like 90s. You could tell a movie you're watching was made in the 90s because of that.
But it didn't break the immersion for me. It didn't ruin it for me. It still held up and it was good. A couple questions about the actual game, because we understand obviously at this point you've probably seen this movie, right? It's been around forever. They wind up he's in the game for 26 years, okay? Conveniently, Sarah's still hanging around in town, okay? Yeah, go ahead.
So beforehand, guys, we don't talk about any of these things. We don't like mix notes or anything. Every time me and him have like the same exact list. There's no way on earth, 26 years of therapy, that Sarah agrees to play this game.
For sure.
And especially with him tricking her, like, give me the dice. And then
that was pretty sweet, though.
She's walking out. She is leaving. She is not waiting to see. Those dice do not stop spinning before she's out the door.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That's for sure. Okay. But yeah, a few questions on Sarah specifically. She lived her entire life traumatized, obviously, with what happened when she was a kid. But at no point did she regroup and like actually have a life, right? Like she didn't like start a family and like find someone to be with and you know what I mean? Like
she did the opposite. She changed her name.
Right. She just became a recluse, which I will say very convenient for the plot.
Oh, 100%.
Because you get back into this game, right? Like could you imagine she's living a beautiful life, right? And she is so happy, has everything, great kids, just the perfect family, right? Let's say the therapy worked, right? She put the trauma in the past. This guy shows up, freaks her out. She's like, I'm good, actually. I don't want to play this game. I got a beautiful family. Hey, look, and you actually meet them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're all there. What, like how does that work? Where, oh, by the way, if we finish this game, it all goes away. Like,
well, they don't know that though.
Well, when you read the board game says everything resets, and maybe in their head they're probably like everything that's come out of the board game will go away.
I don't remember it saying any, but you could be right.
It says finish. That's the reason why they're trying to finish the game the entire time. It's like just finish the game. And this will go away. The stampede will go away. The mosquitoes, like the monkeys, everything will go away.
I don't think they expect 26 years to disappear.
I don't think they do either.
I was going to say, because then the kids are like, oh, so we're dying. That
right.
we're gonna die.
Right. Okay. So then, let's play with that. Then they don't know that it's going to go back in time. Fine.
Yes.
They just assume everything's going to go away. Imagine Sarah after they finish the game, right?
Yeah.
And it's over, and they just snap back, and she just lived 26 American years.
American, not
whole
American,
American years.
Okay.
And it's all gone. Every memory, she's got to try to re-step and try to get back to that point, that happiness. And oh my God.
If she wants it.
I'm just saying, if she's like,
Yeah.
we're very fortunate. Alan's very fortunate. They're all very fortunate that she's still in town and the therapy didn't work. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
100%.
I just that whole like situation could have gone so much differently. And just also imagine being a kid at the end of the movie. We're going to get in the draft about the props pretty soon.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking at the end of the movie, whenever they are ripped back to 1969 where it all started.
Yeah.
Imagine having the memory.
Yeah, of 26 years.
Of 26 years.
Yeah, like that's legitimately us. We're both 30. Well, you're a little older.
I'm an old guy.
Yeah,
I'm
a little older.
Okay, thanks.
But that's us right now being put back in our 12-year-old bodies and expecting to live the next 18 to 20 years. Like I don't know if I could do that.
Right. Yeah. I need to relive.
Like imagine the two of them hanging out because they get married. Imagine the two of them hanging out every day for 26 years, knowing they're gonna get together. Like they're adults. They're more adult. They're about the same age as Alan's parents, as their own parents at that point.
Yeah.
Like, is he walking around calling his dad by his first name? Is like
yeah, it is. So it's really weird. And that's another thing too. I mean, obviously, he never really he got ripped into the game as a kid.
Yeah.
But he did live 26 years in the game, so he did like mature as best he can without any human interaction, really.
Yeah.
But that's just weird to think about. Like I saw a comment on a video I was watching that said, forget about like how weird the relationship is between Sarah and Alan because he's technically a kid. He's not technically a kid because he did live and age. It's not like he came back and was a little boy in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just unrefined.
Right. It's weird, but it's not as weird as they were trying to make it out.
Yeah. One thing that I did miss as a kid, because like I just wasn't smart enough, was when they do meet the kids in the future at the Christmas party, when the parents say, yeah, we think we're gonna go away to the Rockies, and they scream no. I never got that as a kid. Like that didn't click with me.
Yeah.
That's the trip where they die on. And
so they're just like, hey, how about no? You're gonna have to work right now. Like, don't die, please. Thanks.
I enjoyed catching that.
No, that's definitely that was a funny moment for sure. I just wanted to get on that situation about them coming back, but also this is kind of like obviously you can't bring anything back with you when you get sucked back into the start of all this.
Yeah.
But if Sarah has all the memories, maybe she has. Like I'm thinking like Back to the Future sports almanac memories.
Yes.
Where like she could kind of just be like, oh, do I recall like any of these sporting events? What something crazy happening? Maybe I could like, have that knowledge.
I would like to say because of the amount of time travel stuff I've seen, I commit major things like knowing that in the Broncos Super Bowl, I think the first score of that was a safety. Or something like
all right.
That.
Well, you're just retaining that. Good job. Yeah.
Like that, like knowing when Bitcoin hit like freaking 50,000, like those things I have in memory in case, God forbid, I wake up and I'm 10.
Yeah.
And I just know
you're
that
like,
I have to.
Let's do it right this time.
I
We're
gotta
gonna be rich.
Yeah. I've got those small betting things in the back.
And then you have to go to your parents and be like, no, Mom, seriously, $500 right here. It's all. You trust me. Like, how does that gonna work? Oh my God.
I do have one more gripe about one gripe.
Sure.
Their turns took way too long. Like if I'm in this, I'm just straight rolling and rolling. I'm not waiting for the pieces. Like I'm not waiting. That once the piece stops, I'm rolling. I'm not waiting for the monkeys or the poisonous plants or the stampede. I'm rolling. I
kind of feel like you have to read. What you have to do the thing and then read the thing and then everything happens.
After the first 3 turns, what comes next is trying to kill me.
Right.
Like that's it.
You know what would be a fun thing to do is edit together the actual amount of time to play this game. It really is going to be like a minute 30.
Well, the thing is, I think the game, I didn't keep specific track, but I think the game was only like 7 turns.
Right. It wasn't even that long.
No, like if they just roll, they breeze through the game 10 minutes and they're done.
Thanks a lot, Sarah.
Yeah,
running away.
Like they roll and they're like, oh, the ground is rumbling. What is What is that? I don't. Oh, Stampede? No, roll. I'm rolling.
I think I would also like to give I would like to put some shame on Sarah's therapist, because at some point it had to come up. So she's got this stuff. No one really believed her, but her therapist, it's their job to get to the bottom, I feel like, of this and kind of figure everything out. Not that they're like police officers or anything, but at some point Sarah had to say the line that was read right before he got sucked in to the game board, right?
Yeah.
So he got sucked in, and the line was like, until somebody rolls a 5 or 8, right?
Wait. Well, the line is said. Sarah doesn't see him get sucked in, does she? Bats.
It's happening right in front of her, I thought.
She
knows it. She saw it started happening, right? His hands started going in, and she saw that.
And then the bats come? Because the bats scare her out of the house.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, does it all happen simultaneously? I don't understand.
Because the bats come through the fireplace, they scare out of the house.
Right. I don't know. She mentions him getting sucked into a board game. Obviously, she knows that that's happened. And the things that were said was 5 or 8.
Yes.
At some point, you put it together. If you really think it's real, you say, okay, not that you would go back to the board game, not that you would do that.
Yeah.
But it said roll a 5 or 8. And if I'm the therapist, I say, go get the board game. Let's do this.
I don't think that's how therapy works. The therapy is
trial by fire. I'm a horrible therapist, by the way. I'm not licensed.
You are afraid of X object. What we're gonna do is you're gonna go get that and you're gonna bring it to the next. No, that is I don't believe
trial
that's
by
how.
fire. No. Yeah. Okay. So look, we get it. I'm not a therapist, but I'm just saying that had to come up. Maybe the therapist could have taken that to somebody, and maybe I just feel like those words would have rang in my head for years and years and years and years. And if it did in hers. That's it. That's the only way. If he really did get sucked in and you really want this, you want to lose or, get rid of this memory, you just got to do it. You got to go back to the game. I don't know. Okay. Maybe that's just me. Like if that happened to me, I'd be like, holy crap. I'd be obviously traumatized, but I'd also be like, we got to go back to this game, right? Like we got just to figure it out. But also, I would bring 90 people to watch me roll.
Yes, definitely.
Like maybe like the army, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like this, just who knows what's going to happen for science? Let's roll. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, a lot could have been different. Like this obviously could have been taken in a different direction, but also real quick, their fascination with playing the game in the house. Why? Yeah. Why are they so hell-bent on playing in the house?
We got to get, like, Peter gets it out of the river. And
they go back to the house.
Yeah, then they go back.
Why? I don't know. You think like all this stuff, this wildlife would be a little more easy to manage if you could just do it out in the open instead of just getting crushed or sucked into a floorboard or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
And that was my first thought with the monsoon. The monsoon hits.
Right.
And instead of like getting an open space, they start covering up. Yeah. And he says, get to high ground, get outside.
Walk outside, break a window. Yeah. I don't know. There obviously are a lot of things we would have done differently. And having watched it for years and years and years, we're ready. All right. We're ready to play this game. Yes. But yes, a lot of this could have been solved if A, everybody just participated and played quickly.
Yes.
And B, every time you read something on the board game, you just relocated.
Immediately.
Just, all right, there it is. Okay, we got monkeys. Goodbye.
Especially with a hunter chasing after you.
Yes, that's very interesting. The hunter was very strange. Which also I believed he was played by the father, wasn't he not?
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was like a manifestation of his like fears.
Yes,
I think that was the metaphor there.
Okay, I think we've done enough here.
It's time.
It is time. Draft time. If you don't understand what we just did, that's the noise. I've decided that's the noise, and it was 100% my decision. And if you don't like it, please write me and email me. Anyway, Tyler, you nominated this movie, all right?
I did.
Nominated Jumanji. There are so many, I won't say so many. There's quite a bit of props in this movie, but we're going to do 3 and 3, okay?
Yes.
You will start, I will pick, then you will pick. We'll go back and forth. We'll just alternate. Because
Sounds
you nominated this movie, you get the first pick. I can already tell you're going to get the best prop. And I really don't think there's a lot of suspense here, but just get it out of the way. Let's go.
That is a very defeatist attitude.
No, I'm over it.
I mean, the thing is with a prop like this, you can't just pick it. I mean, there's one namesake to this movie, right?
Right. Sure.
There's something you could go to Target right now and you could get, which I have not gotten because I believe in bad luck and karma. I'm not going to play this.
Well, don't go in my closet because we got it, son. We got it.
I'm surprised you're even here to tell the tale.
Yeah.
But if you go into my movie house, there's going to be a display case, and in that display case, you're going to see Jumanji wide open.
Wide open? You're not even. It looks so much better closed.
Half open, like with the not completely.
So it's gonna say
wide
Jum.
open. No. Like it's gonna be angled, like a 45-degree angle.
Okay.
And it's gonna be like half opened.
Okay. All right. Now I see it. I mean, the inside does look really cool, but yeah.
Yeah, it's got the squigglies, and then you could have the pieces sitting up because apparently the pieces are magnetic and don't fall.
Yes, they never will fall.
Yeah, the pieces never fall. So you have them, and then it's just half open. And if someone accidentally knocks into the display case, now they're playing Jumanji. So good luck, have fun.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So I mean, we're talking about real world stuff, right? I mean, obviously this isn't. I mean, we don't know for sure. It could be real. Maybe
there is one. There's got to be one. Why would they make the movie?
You're right. This is probably a true story.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do some research. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll have to see. Okay. So yeah, that's a pretty easy one. I feel like there's no pressure there. I think the draft really starts at 2.
Do not belittle my picks.
I did. I belittled it. It is small. You could have picked an underdog, and you just went with the easy one.
What would you have picked second had I not?
I would have picked the Jumanji board game. You idiot!
Okay,
you would a colossal missed opportunity for you. But because you picked it, I'm going to sing a different tune. All right. So you've picked the Jumanji board game, obviously. By the way, that's top prop list all day long, right? I mean, it is Jumanji. Like, you literally have to say the name of the movie to talk about this prop, for sure. At number 2, there are so many things I would want, and they all kind of fall in the same category to me, except for one.
Okay.
And I don't know why I like it so much. Maybe because I think it was way ahead of its time. We're going to 1969. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to the shoe factory.
Okay.
And I'm taking the basketball shoes. All right. I'm taking the Parrish basketball shoes, but I want the shredded ones.
The shredded ones.
I want the shredded basketball shoes.
So I spoke to my fiance and I told her about this when we decided we were going to do this movie. And she gave me a list of her favorite props. And that was the second one she named. She said the shredded. She didn't say the best one. She said the shredded shoe. Exactly.
Specifically shredded because it tells a story. Obviously, it got some people in trouble, maybe even fired.
Yeah.
And also, 1969, that is such an advanced shoe design. It is. That's a 90s shoe. That's like Shaquille O'Neal's like Reebok. That's what that is. That's a basic 90s basketball shoe.
Do you remember BK Knights, British Knights?
I don't.
They used to give them away on Legends of the Hidden Temple.
No.
So BK Knights, they reminded me of that.
I mean, they were definitely nice shoes. I mean, I would have rocked them for sure. If you would have put those on in 1969, and like, why wasn't like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar rocking these shoes? Like, like Wilt Chamberlain should have been out there balling in these shoes. Like,
you would have scored 150.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like these shoes are so like they just like trying to see those shoes, and you know for a fact when you watch it that's they just went to like Foot Locker, right, and just ripped the logos off of a shoe in the 90s.
Yeah.
But that's mind-boggling to me. Did you know what shoes were actually like when you look it up in 1969? Like basketball players were wearing it.
Yeah,
that is such an advanced design, and the shredded version, it's iconic to me.
It sets the rest of the story in motion,
right? And then they go back, and it's fixed. Like Alan winds up telling him that was his fault.
Yeah,
and everything's fixed. Everything's good. But the basketball shoes for sure, number 2 pick for me.
Yeah. Not a bad one.
Thank you. I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was bad.
You see, this is how you compliment someone on their pick.
Yeah, I mean, when it's easy, it's easy. But
okay,
nice pick.
So,
sort of.
Yes, thank you. So back to me with number 3. That, like you said, there's a few that could vie for this spot. Only because I know you're going to take one of the other ones that I like. But there was one prop, like you said, the shoe told a story. And I feel like one other prop told a story. And as you see this prop, you're like, wow, stuff is really going on.
Okay.
And Yeah. So one thing, like the shoes just got, and the house actually got tormented and destroyed throughout this movie. And for me, that's going to be the police car.
The police car.
The police car.
Wow. All right.
I don't know if this was on your list, but the police car for me was hilarious. Like from the monkeys taking it,
Yeah.
the monkeys immediately blow a hole in the roof. When David Allen Greer finally gets it back, it's like a beat up jalopy that can barely go down the road.
Yeah.
He finally gets it back. He's happy. And what happens to it? It gets eaten up by the vines.
Yeah.
And that's just.
Do you want it pre-fold or you want it folded automobile?
I want it damaged, but I don't think I want it folded.
Okay. All right.
I want it when he's like trying to drive it and it's just chugging along and it's barely making it.
Okay.
That's what I want.
I do think that's a good pick. I can tell you it wasn't even on my list.
Mm-hmm.
You're the automobile guy. You like the automobiles, which is fine.
I don't want to be, but I feel like it was an okay pick. It was something that I feel like not a lot of people would have picked, and I've been trying to go for that in this.
Right.
I don't want
Here's
all
the
of
deal.
obvious.
I won't knock this pick. I will give you a compliment. I will say, very good pick. Because
Thank
it
you.
is. Like David Allen Greer's character in this movie is he's fumbling. He's obviously not a great cop. Like it wasn't
No,
really. He should not
he's
be a
the
police
worst
officer.
cop.
He's terrible for sure.
He's the worst cop.
And what's funny is like, yeah, he's going through it, but the car is taking the brunt of all the beatings. Like every time something happens, the car gets beat. And the fact that it's still running up to the point where it gets crushed and sucked into the woods by the vines. Fascinating. Like it's like really a testament to the vehicle,
Yes.
which I believe was a Caprice. I'm pretty sure it was like a Chevy Caprice or something. Maybe, I don't know. Look it up. It's a solid vehicle, and yes, pre-folded, which I'm sure that was some sort of prop. I don't think they ran an actual car and folded it through that. I don't think they used that actual car. I don't know how they would have done that. I actually want to look that up now and see how they did that.
Yeah.
But yes, police car. I don't hate the pick. I think it's a good pick for sure.
Thank you.
But that leaves my door wide open.
So I want you to know I have butterflies right now because there's three things that I really want, and we each only have. Well,
I have two picks. You have one.
You have two. So I have one, and I'm upset because there's like three more things that I want. So we're gonna have to give our honorable mentions.
I honestly, because this pick is going back to you, I'm gonna use a little draft strategy here.
Oh no.
We're at some point we're all going into the animal kingdom, I think, right? I think that's what's going to happen. Okay? I don't want to be the first to do it though. Because I feel like there's good options across the board. I'm going to make you be the first one to do it. And if you don't do it, fine. So with my second pick, the fourth overall pick, I'm going to take the Hunter's Blunderbuss. Like the freaking enormous gun that he comes out of the board game with. What a ridiculous gun that is. It's so over the top. It's humongous. It's like 5 feet long, and it shoots like cannonballs.
I will say I definitely considered that item, and I took it off only because the screen time it got was so minimal.
Right, and then he immediately replaces it with like an automatic, like a freaking AR rifle. Like it's a bit much.
I genuinely, I was like, this is on my list, but then I realized after about, I don't know, 2 minutes, it's gone. So I was like, you know what, I could fill time with something else.
Yeah, no,
I like that pick.
I didn't want to double up. I didn't want to, because you didn't. I mean, you didn't double up into the animal kingdom, which I think is where we're going for the last two picks. I don't want to assume what you're doing.
Yes.
I also didn't want to be the first one to pick it, and I didn't want two animals. This is on my list. It's at my list, I think, at 5.
Yes.
But like I said, draft strategy, I want to make sure I can secure a non-animal that I think is actually pretty interesting. I think the gun is just so dumb looking that when people, like if it was just sitting in your house displayed and somebody was like, yo, what is that? I'd be like, oh, you know the movie Jumanji? That hunter? Like, we don't know what year it is in the board game. Like, you know what I mean? Where did he get that gun?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, is there like, I don't know. It's such a fascinating design. Like that. I would be curious to see when the actual Jumanji board game was created, because we know it's predates 1869, because it was 1869 in the beginning of the movie, and those kids, which that we'll get into that.
1869?
1869, 100 years later, 1969.
The
The very beginning of the movie, the two kids are burying it.
Yes.
That should have been the sequel. Was what is a prequel.
Yes.
I wanted to see 1800s Jumanji. That's what it would have. I think that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to design the game. Thought of that gun. Can they just manifest guns inside of it? I don't understand how that works. It's like magic.
I mean, if you rewatch the other movies, like there's a lot of things that are just in there. Like it's like its own world inside the game.
Right. Okay.
So I'm not 100% though.
So maybe they they kind of get with the times and like the guns. Granted, he did immediately go get a better gun, but
yeah,
he was a little outdated. But he had a decent gun. I'm taking the gun. I call it a blunderbuss just because I like saying that word. I feel like it kind of could be a blunderbuss. It's in the category. I feel like.
Side note real quick, what does that gun dealer do with all of these gold coins?
I don't know. And to immediately, whenever he dropped that, to immediately be like, oh yeah, no, you get this gun today. Without even like picking it up and flicking it or like hitting something with it or like metal, like, you know what I mean? Taking a magnet or something.
He's just like,
what year is it?
Yeah.
Where you can just drop a bag of coinage and be like, oh, we're good.
Yeah, no.
If it was like a bar of gold, I'd be like,
that's
okay,
a different story. Yeah,
that makes sense. But yeah, you're right. To immediately just be like, oh, everything, all this paperwork? No, because you dropped coins here, which for all we know could have been candy chocolates. Like, you know what I mean? Like it could have been literally anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're up. You have Jumanji. You have the police car.
So you kind of put a lot of pressure on me and you're kind of like trying to sway my pick there by saying we're both going to Animal Kingdom.
I'm not saying
the thing is excuse me. I feel that there's a few things that could go into the spot because we could go into the Animal Kingdom. You're right.
Well, we could. If you don't want to do it, that's fine.
But I have one thing here that is that I have two things that I like.
Okay.
All right. One I have written next to says iconic.
Oh,
and then one thing I have that I just like. So I'm not sure.
I feel like we're about to reveal that Tyler hates animals.
I don't. But when you think about this movie, when you think about funny moments, like a prop that provided more to the movie. If we're going back to me talking about the musket not having a lot of screen time.
Right.
Out of my two last things, the thing that had the most screen time is going to be Peter's monkey suit.
Monkey suit? Was he wearing an actual suit?
Do we not? Because if we don't count this as a prop, then that'll help me out a lot.
I mean, honestly, I don't. Aside from the tail, I really don't think that's like a suit he's wearing. Like, I think that they literally just pasted hair on his face and like it's a little prosthetics. You know?
Okay, so we don't count that.
I don't think it's. I mean, this. I don't think. I don't know. I think we should probably scrap it. I think it's a bad pick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My next pick is going to be the leaf suit that Robin Williams comes out of the game wearing.
Okay.
I'm putting that on a mannequin, and I'm displaying that in a display case.
Okay. I can't be mad at that. I do have a knock against it though.
Why?
I think if you put that on a mannequin, right?
Yes.
And you say okay, you know that 90s Robin Williams movie?
Yeah.
I don't think they say Jumanji first. I think they say Hook. I think honestly, to me, I mean, granted, if you know for sure, I just think it could be. It's definitely an interesting suit. I just think it's not. To me, I don't. That's not synonymous with Jumanji.
That never even crossed my mind.
Look, I'm just saying. I don't want to knock
your
your pick.
To me, that's synonymous with Jumanji just because of all the memes. Though, what year is it? Like,
yeah. Okay, that's fair.
I think I don't even think Hook.
I know. Some people could. I'm just saying. Some people could. It's on my list. Yes. It's not high on my list, but it was definitely something that I was contemplating.
Yes.
And I do think it's a valid pick. I'm not going to knock it. I'm just saying that was my one thing is if you say, hey, it's from that 90s Robin Williams movie, and somebody's like, Hook? Oh, no, wait, it's Jumanji. Because he wore it. He ran around the house in it. He ran around outside in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he cleans himself up.
Yes.
But,
yes.
Okay. I mean, it's not bad. I feel...
I feel the thing is I don't feel too confident in it. I made the pick, so I'm sticking with it.
Right. Okay.
You got to stick to your guns. I do have a couple of other honorable mentions that I think might be stronger picks.
Okay. Well, I only have one more pick, so obviously,
yes.
Yeah.
I was just very jazzed.
I'm curious to hear you. I mean, look, I watched this movie, and I made some notes, and I made my list, and I just feel like our minds in this particular movie were in a different space.
For the first time, actually.
Yeah, which is fine. It's good. I mean, we can interpret movies differently, finally, which is fine. With the last pick, though, and I've already kind of alluded to it, we're going to go to the animal kingdom.
Yes.
There's so many animatronics in this movie, and I'm kind of actually upset that you didn't pick one because I was hoping you would take one off the top for me. That would have made it a little easier. And
I
now,
like to watch you squirm.
Now I'm like, damn, this is... You're going to make me choose.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure that the crocodile was an entire crocodile. Like, very much so could have just been the upper portion and the back, and it was just something that was skated. I don't think that's a full crocodile.
I pictured it as like a rodeo, the rodeo bull.
Right.
He has that moment. I pictured it like that. So you have I'm thinking like torso up.
Yeah,
maybe
I don't like that.
Up.
I don't like that. So I'm going to write that one off.
But that is on my list. That was one of my. I was with you on the animals. Yeah. That is on my list.
I will say I'm a big bird guy. I'm a big bird guy. I like birds. I'm not going to say. I'm knocking them off my list. This is me going backwards. Okay.
I thought this is the pick.
No.
I
wanted you to pick one of them so I could pick the other. The other I would have picked is the pelican. But now that you didn't pick it, I'm picking that whole ass lion.
Okay.
I want the whole ass lion.
Wait, but was the whole lion animatronic or was the lion's paw animatronic? I thought the whole lion was CGI'd, and I thought his paw was animatronic.
No, when the ant comes back to the house and opens the door to the bedroom,
yes,
you see an entire lion just on the bed.
I thought that was CGI.
I don't think it was. He wasn't moving. It was stationary on the bed. It does like one growl.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't think it's CGI.
I think that might be CGI.
Are we going to fight?
When it paused the door, definitely an animatronic. 100%.
No, but I don't want to pause the door. Like I want as much of the lion as I possibly can.
Yeah, because I thought about the lion too, but I thought the lion was CGI'd, so I just scrapped it because I too, I was like, that would be awesome to have a whole lion. Like I would give you the whole bed. I would give you the setup. I would give you the bed and the lion laying on the bed if that lion is actually completely animatronic. But I saw it and I thought it was CGI'd. I thought it was in the same vein as the monkeys.
Now I got to look it up, and now I'm afraid that there's going to be. I'm curious. I like a lion in bedroom of Jumanji. Like this is something I need to look up.
Yeah, that's fine. And to go back to your Pelican pick, I think the Pelican is also a strong pick. The Pelican swallowing the Jumanji game was like one of those things you don't foresee, and it just ended up being like a funny little addition. It's just like, okay, what other bad thing could happen? Because at this point, Jumanji is like, what is Murphy's Law? Like, what else could go wrong right now in this movie? And the last thing you think is a pelican's gonna swallow the board game and fly away.
Yes.
Like what?
the pelican. The reason why I put it on my list too is because on a website it sold recently. The animatronic pelican did sell. I don't know what it sold for. I think it was a few thousand, but it sold, and it looked all scraggly, like it had been sitting in storage for years and years and years. But I was like, I mean, I'd be down to have that. That'd be really cool. I just looked it up, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm on the Propstore website, propstore.com.
Yes.
This is not okay. This is in the archives. It's not for sale right now. Jumanji, I will say, does have some things for sale for that movie on this website, and I'll get to that in a moment. There is. It's the whole ass lion. I looked it up. If you Google search the lion on the bed in Jumanji, lion bed Jumanji, it's a whole ass lion, and it's a lion suit.
I would like to say I just looked up the scene when Judy, I believe her name, the sister.
Yeah.
When Kirsten Dunst and her brother go in, that right there is a whole animatron. I was thinking of a completely different scene.
Yeah, I was thinking of the one at the end where the ant pops in and it's just chilling on the bed. Like that's it.
Yeah. So no, you are right, because you could even tell by its motions, like that is full robotic. Like, yeah,
Right.
I will give you the bed. I will give you the lion. You could have
want the
that
bed.
whole room.
I don't want the bed. It'd be
room.
really weird. According to this, and it's just showing it like laid on the ground. It's essentially like a gutted out lion, legs, tail, everything. And it says this lion costume with hero remote control head from the 1995 adventure film Jumanji. That sold. That was listed on the Propstore. It doesn't say what the price was. It sold. Like, that's crazy to me.
How much?
It doesn't say. It's on their site. It was on their site. It doesn't show what it sold. I think they went to auction. It had to go to auction or something.
So I'm going back and looking. They had a few scenes. They had the lion, just the head, up in the attic when they look into a closet. Like I was completely wrong. They do quite a bit of animatronics with this lion.
For sure. And to me, the lion, like I mean, I don't know why I just assume at some point you would have picked it, but I'm kind of happy to get it as the last pick in the draft because that's
a steal.
It's like one of the first things that happens.
Yeah.
In the game, well, in the 90s in the game. And it's there through the whole movie, and it's so funny at the end. You're like, okay, everything's gone back to normal. The ant's back. And then she goes and opens her bedroom door, and it's just chilling there. Like it's not even a factor. It's just like I got bored, I got lazy, I'm gonna chill on your bed, and like it's not even a factor anymore. It's so funny.
I will. You could actually see the behind the scenes of the man in the lion.
Wow.
That is on YouTube. But I will say that is a steal, and there are no winners and losers.
Okay, I can't possibly accept winner. There's no way.
I have to, because you took my eyes weren't keen enough. You had it.
How did you think that was CGI?
I must have glanced past it. It's
because you're such a youngster, you just assume all those effects are computer.
I don't know. I look back now at it, and it's like I saw it for the first time. I don't know what. It's very clearly not CGI, right? But we're thinking of two different scenes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm honored to get that. That's a sweet deal for me. At 6, the last pick. Yeah.
Well, to go back to the Animal Kingdom, one thing I did for a fact have on my list, we already referenced them before, were the spiders.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, those spiders, to me, like that's something I'll never forget. Where the spiders coming in and trying to bite Robin Williams when he's stuck in the floor.
Yes,
and he's blowing at them, and he's.
Yeah, I definitely had animatronic lion. I got that. The fireplace plant monster.
I did not put on. It's a good one because
it
tried to take Kirsten Dunst out. So
it looks pretty, but I mean, it'd be really weird to just like, where do you put that?
The fireplace one though, that's the one that looks like Audrey too. That you're talking about, like the Venus flytrap one.
Yeah, it comes out of the fireplace, and then it tries to grab Peter, I believe.
Okay, I was thinking of the one that shot the venom, the purple one. Yeah, the poisonous darts.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about that.
No, I want the big ass one.
You want the big? Okay,
I don't go for subtlety, man. That's,
you want the man-eating plant.
Yeah, size matters when it comes to my animatronics.
So when you get that plant, do you put that in a pot and stand it up, or do you put that like in the corner of the ceiling, like pointing down? Like how do you?
In my prop display room, I have professionals come in and install a fireplace, and then I shove it into the fireplace. That's it. It's not a real fireplace. Actually, you know what? For added effect, I'll get it. It'll be an electronic fireplace with the fire.
You hit a button and bats come flying out and chase you out the room.
All right. Maybe not all that, but
okay.
But no, I just that was on my list for sure. The pelican and the gun, and I had the spiders, like you already mentioned.
So one thing that I did have on here that felt like a really weak pick. It gave me one of the funniest moments of the movie, but I felt like it was a very weak pick. Was the axe when Robin Williams says, "Go get the axe." And he's chopping at the lock with the axe and realizes he has the axe.
And he literally like fourth walls it. He looks right at the camera. You're like, what the hell am I? What is this? Like all of a sudden.
One of my favorite scenes growing up was that. Like nothing was nothing was as funny in the 90s watching a movie as seeing a fourth wall break.
Right. And he was just a subtle camera look. You're not supposed to do that. Hey, what are you doing, kid? Get back in there. Like
because it wasn't done a lot. So seeing that was great.
That was a funny break there for sure.
Yes.
Making the list, what I normally do is the first thing I always write down is me just grasping for straws right away, just in case. I wrote down the 1869 chest that the game was in.
Really?
The chest holding the game.
Honestly, the chest isn't a bad pick. I definitely didn't even think of it because it looked like an old pirate's chest.
Right. That's why it looked like it would be kind of cool to have.
Yeah.
But then when you get deeper into the movie and you realize there's so much more cooler stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's in the 1869 scene when they're burying it, and he pulls that same chest out of the construction site, like we talked about. It was something that was on my list, but not.
I will say not a bad pick. Not my top pick. Not a bad pick. I had Peter's bike or Alan's bike. Sorry,
the bike. Yeah, he goes back to that.
The thing is, like, you see glimpses. You never actually see, like, you see the bike momentarily.
Right.
It's never like the chest gets more screen time, I feel, than the actual bike does.
For sure. I'll say right before we get. Well, I mean, before we get out of here, I want to go to back to Propstore.com, and the Jumanji actually has a few props on the site. Most of the time, especially for older movies, it's a lot of like storyboards and like scripts and stuff like that. There's a press kit on here. There are 2 hand-drawn sketches of Monkey Peter, just how they were trying to map out Monkey Peter.
Monkey Peter, okay.
And there's one really cool hand-painted concept art. Like, it's literally like you could hang this up. It's the scene where they're putting Alan's putting the kids on the chandelier.
Yes.
Above the crocodile. Like, it actually, I would hang that up as art. Like, that's beautiful.
It's actually not a bad one. That's actually pretty good.
I'm about to say something, though, that may break your wallet, though. Like, break your bank, break your whatever it is. Your financials are about to go down the drain. Available right now for a small fee of 1,845 American doll hairs. The orange stunt spider.
Oh, my goodness.
The spider. You can buy a spider that they use. It's not, I don't think it's the animatronic one. It's one of the stunt ones. They call it the stunt one because it's probably the one that got batted out the window.
Yes.
Or something like that. Well, wait, might have been a mosquito. But either way, it was one that they were okay with breaking because the weirdest thing is, like, they have the picture of all the legs in, and then when you get it, it's just going to be the torso with the legs detached and laid down. It's super creepy looking.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, when you watch that scene back, like, only some of them were animatronic, and then the other ones were just like stationary and just moving side to side,
or up and down on like a web. Like, that was just them dangling it.
Yeah.
But that's available right now. I'm actually shocked to see that. Like, something that prominent is available for a movie that's over 20 years old.
When I get my prop house, it will be there.
Okay, for sure. I mean, you can probably sell some things and you can make that. I mean, that's no biggie. 1,800. That's pocket change, man.
Yeah.
But no, the Propstore.com is a fun website. I'll probably go to it for pretty much every movie that we go to. If there's anything that's available right now, I honestly, I think I'd rather have the painting. The painting it's so cool looking.
Yeah, the painting does sound actually really cool. I would put that up. Art is cool.
Art is cool. If you take anything from this episode, art is cool. Get into art. But yeah, I think that'll about wrap it up. I mean, let me wrap up recap the picks real quick. You obviously got the Jumanji board game. You got the police car, and you have the Robin Williams leaf suit, which is beautifully designed. I will say it's beautiful design. You could probably wear that around. You know what I mean? Just wear it around your house.
I mean, I could.
And I picked the Parrish basketball shoes, specifically ripped. I picked the Hunter's blunderbuss gun, the ridiculous Hunter when he initially shows up and things are just getting like blown to pieces.
Was that a musket? I believe.
I mean, musket, blunderbuss. We're talking like we're splitting hairs here. I think.
Okay.
It's probably was a musket. Like, I would probably on set they were like, grab the musket. But I would be the one guy that's like, give me the blunderbuss, please.
Okay.
I want to look up the difference between blunderbuss and musket, but we'll get to that another time.
In my mind, blunderbuss is slightly shorter. I would like to say, though, on iCollector.com, Alan Parrish's leaf shawl went for $3,000.
Damn. Well, I did touch his body, which is,
and that's just the shawl. That's not the full suit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know why I got to stop looking this up. We'll get to we'll talk about this later. The difference between a blunderbuss and a musket, because now I'm actually intrigued and curious. But okay, we'll put it up on our social media at the Movie Propcast. You can see all the props from all these episodes, and you can kind of comment, chime in, follow. That would be great. We'd love to see you there. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, we would love a rate and review. If you could do that, that would be amazing. Thank you so much. We love you. And aside from that, I mean, we're going to be getting into it. I mean, hopefully you've listened to all 3 of the first episodes, and we'll be pushing forward. I don't think we're going to give a teaser for 4, though. I think we're just going to let it drop. I don't want to give you any teasers. At this point, we're to the point now, things are just going to start dropping, all right? That's what kids say nowadays?
Drop it like it's hot, I believe.
It's going to be hot, steamy fire, and it'll be released here shortly. So hopefully you can either A, just get right into it, or B, you're waiting eagerly and anticipating the next episode of the Movie Propcast. That's it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. At the Movie Propcast. Not even the. Actually, drop the the. Am I saying the?
Yeah, you are saying the. It's just Movie Prop. I mean, we can be the Movie Propcast.
No, I don't want to do the. At Movie Propcast. I want to keep it short. At Movie Propcast on Instagram. And listen, there's rumors. We're on TikTok. Okay? We are on TikTok.
Rumors?
Yes, there's rumors. And I guess by me saying we're on TikTok, it's not a rumor anymore. I just wanted to address it because there was a lot of heat. I could feel it. A lot of people were saying, hey, guys, are you on TikTok? Millions of people messaging. And I said, listen, yes, we are. Same handle, Movie Propcast. Okay, for real, we're going to get out of here. Tyler, thank you for this episode. Thank you for nominating
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We'll see you next week.
Love you. That was for the fans. That wasn't for you.
Oh, all right. All right.
That was not for you.